The key to mastering cross-country skiing is mastering balance, agility, which is the ability to move yourself around, stability, so you're not wobbly, and those three things work together to give you control. So you can imagine if you don't have good balance and you're having trouble moving yourself around and you're feeling wobbly, it's really hard to ski. So mastering those things will make skiing much, much easier. The key to mastering those things is your body position, and specifically your hip position, where your hips are, because your hips are the center of your body. So where you move them affects, the position of everything else, and it's also your center of mass, and where you put that mass and how you move it around affects how easy and effective your skiing is. So balance, in order to have good balance, you have to have your center of mass directly over your feet. So that means front to back, I want to have my hips here, right over my feet, not behind my feet, but here over my feet. That's also true side to side, because when we're skiing, we're almost always gliding on one foot or the other, and in order to balance and glide on one foot, I have to have my center of mass directly over my foot. So my belly button should be over my foot in order to balance on it. If it's not, if it's here, then I have a hard time balancing on that foot. So, and it's here, I'm not like this, I'm like this. So if I'm here, I can balance on one foot, and skiing is easy. The key to agility is to have soft knees and ankles and my feet close together. Problem that a lot of new skiers have is they tend to tense up and have, stiff legs, and they tend to have their feet wide. So having your feet wide, first of all, it makes it hard to balance on one foot, right? I can't balance on one foot when I have my feet wide apart. And it's also harder to move around when you have your feet wide. I mean, if you think about like trying to run or something with your feet wide, it's very awkward and it's hard to do. And it's just as hard to ski with your feet wide as it is to run with your feet wide. You have to keep them together. So the key to agility and able to move yourself around, keep your feet together, which will again improve your balance. Have your soft knees and ankles. Like you can see, my ankle is kind of flexed, and my knees and ankles act as my shock absorber. And if they're soft, I can move them around and I can maneuver myself easily. Stability, like a lot of people, when they start out, they want to have their feet wide because it makes them feel stable, but stability doesn't come from having wide feet. It actually comes from your core. So having wide feet makes skiing harder. It also it does not improve your stability at all. Stability comes from having your hips forward and tightening up your abs and your glutes. If you're in this position and you have some of your body weight behind your feet and some of your body weight in front of your feet like this, then especially if you have stiff legs, any bump kind of sets up this kind of oscillation movement that makes you feel very wobbly and out of control. If you bring your hips forward over your feet, soft knees and ankles, and tighten up your abs and your glutes, that wobble just stops and your body feels very, very stable. Also, when you're in this position, you can use your abs and your glutes well. Like if you're standing here and you tighten up your abs and your glutes, you can make them, really tight. If you do this, and all I'm doing is just tilting my hips back, now I try and squeeze my abs and my glutes, and I can't really squeeze them very well I can't tighten them up. And then that means that my body will be loose and wobbly. So if you push your hips forward, tighten up your abs and your glutes, that wobble will stop. And again, now my hips are over my feet. I'll have better balance, better agility, and skiing will be much, much easier. So remember, if you're feeling your legs are tense and you're feeling wobbly, get your feet together, soft knees and ankles, tighten up your abs and your glutes with your weight over your feet, and it will be much, much easier.